have a form of dysautonomia, which is called POTS, or it's postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So basically, anything your body should automatically do, mine doesn't. So things like blood flow, stomach digestion, controlling your heart rate, controlling your blood pressure, oxygen, stomach digestion, those kind of things, mine just don't work correctly. And so when my heart rate gets too high, my body doesn't know how to bring it back down, so it just stays really high, so I get very dizzy. My blood pressure stays very low. I know some people will see the video and think, well, why do you do that? Why do you put yourself through it? And to me, it's a way of me feeling normal. I think I'm kind of in denial as to what's going on. I was a little nervous to even do this video because I was afraid to see what was going on. But also because my kids, it's just me and those two, and I need to show them that no matter what you have to deal with, whether it's something wrong with your leg or your back or your arm or anything, or having POTS, it's just a struggle that I'm always going to have, and there's ways to modify everything. So I get to play the modification game every day, where some days I can do this and some days I can do that, and some workouts I can squat all the way down, and some days I know I should probably stop part of the way down and be okay with it. I have to learn to be okay with modifying things so that I can do them, but I can still do them. And then I've also learned that I need to show my kids that it's okay to have a bad day, where I've always been the type to be the strong one, and I don't ever let anyone see me cry or struggle, or when I do have bad days, I hide at home because I don't want people to see me struggle. Even at work, I kind of went down and had trouble walking, and my boss tried to help me walk, and I said, no, I won't. I just held onto the wall. I wouldn't even take her hand and let her help me because I was that stubborn, and I did not want anyone to help me. I wanted to do it myself, which is just stupid because she just wanted to help me, but I just can't. To me, it makes me feel like something's wrong. I don't get to go out to eat, so if somebody says, hey, let's go get lunch today, I panic because I still have a whole day to go, and if I eat just a little bit something that my stomach doesn't like, I pretty much am done for the day. I can't even come work out because it feels like my stomach is digesting glass. It was extremely painful, and I do have meds for it, but if I don't eat the right foods, they don't work very well. So I try to stay very, very strict on what I eat and stay with the safe things, and then at night is when I'll kind of test the waters a little bit and eat some things that I don't that I want to eat, because I know I'm going to be home, and if it hurts my stomach, I'm at least home where I can be in comfortable clothes and relax a little bit. And then I have an abdominal binder that I wear around my stomach that helps blood flow, and that will help digest food too. So on my more difficult days, I'll wear that while I'm eating, and usually for an hour after I eat. For some reason, it's my right side that always goes really weak, my right leg, and so I always have to make sure that when I am dizzy that I put all my weight on my left leg, and so I'll either completely take the weight off my right, or I'll just kind of pick it up a little bit. And when I was in the hospital, I had to do physical therapy and to try and strengthen my legs. And I remember the guy laid me on the table, and he put my left leg up, and he pushed against it. He said, okay, don't let me push this down. So I pulled against it, and he said, okay, that one's pretty good. And then I put my right one up, and I thought, oh, I'm really going to get him because I'm competitive. I thought, okay, there's no way he's going to be able to push this leg down. This is my stronger leg. And he pushed on it, and it just dropped to the table. There had no strength in the leg whatsoever. And so for some reason, when I have a dizzy spell, my right leg starts to tremble and shake and gets really weak. So I always have to put my weight on my left. also yawn a lot because when I'm working out or doing anything where my heart's getting a little high, I get very short of breath, and so I have to yawn to get a deep breath. And then sometimes it takes 3 or 4 yawns, which then gives me really bad chest pain. But usually it's just, I usually can get it with one really good yawn. Body temperature is another one. So if I'm out in the heat, a normal person would sweat, and that's how your body tries to control your body temperature. Mine doesn't do that, and so I basically overheat if I'm out in the heat. So my face will turn bright red, and I won't sweat at all, and then I just get kind of lethargic. I just get really tired, and I need to go take a nap, so I can't be in the heat, which stinks in the summer for my kids because then I get to stay inside and watch them from the window while they ride bikes, and I can't take them to the park or to the swimming pool because it's too hot. Even being in the pool, it's still too hot out most of those days. So the summer is one of my most difficult seasons. Sorry if I use the F word, it's the only time I allow myself to use it. All right, so getting diagnosed was quite the process. Growing up, playing sports, I would pass out all the time or collapse on the field. I basically would overheat, and so I go, and then all of a sudden I would get really dizzy and I just collapse on the field. And then once that passed, I would pop back up and be ready to go again because I didn't like to sit and not play. So I went to the doctor, and he just said at first, all your tests are normal, you just hyperventilate. So I'd have to have a paper bag with me. And then they started saying, well, you're just making it up, you're doing it for attention because we can't find anything wrong with you. So I just stopped telling people that it was happening. So at basketball practice during conditioning, I would collapse because we're doing so many sprints. So then it would look convenient to everybody else that, oh, Gwen can't do the sprint, she's got to go sit down. So then they would think I'm being lazy because there was no explanation as to why this was happening to me. And I remember I just watch everybody sprint, and I would think, God, why can't I do that? They're able to I almost watch them in awe. Like they're able to go do this, and they're able to sprint, and they're able to just keep going, but they don't pass out. They can catch their breath, and they can just keep going again. And nobody's, short of breath. Nobody's collapsing or anything like that. So why am I doing this? Is it in my head? For the longest time, I thought maybe it is in my head. And then at work, when I was in my probably 23, I stood up to leave my office, and I got really dizzy, and I kind of bounced off the doorway because I lost my balance, and the receptionist asked what happened. I was like, I just got dizzy. And because to me, I thought it was normal. And I, didn't really talk about it to anybody else, and so nobody knew about it. And she explained to me that no, that was not normal, and asked if she needed to call an ambulance. And then that's when I realized, okay, something might not be right. And then that's when they started testing me for MS, which thankfully came out negative. They've tested me, I think, 3 different times in about 5 years, but again, all negative. And then I had my daughter. I had my son, and I was fine, and had the normal symptoms. And then I had my daughter, and then I had my first ever flu shot. And then about 2 months after that, I started to I was tingling in my hand and my legs. I was very short of breath. I was very fatigued, and I was having a whole list of problems. And I went to my doctor, and he said, you need to go to the ER right now. And I said, no, it's my son's birthday. We're doing his birthday tonight. I'm not going to the ER. And so he said, if you go to a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning, I will let you leave here. I said, that's fine. Set up the appointment, I'll go. So I woke up that morning, I ran, I did my leg workout, I squatted and everything, went to my doctor's appointment, I stood up to hand in my paperwork, I collapsed, and I didn't walk I was in the hospital for 7 days. I was at Lakeside, and then they transferred me to UNMC. I think I saw 4 different neurologists at Lakeside, and none of them could figure anything out, so they'd send me a new one. Same thing. And I had, MRIs, spinal tap, EMGs, all that stuff. And then they transferred me to UNMC, and then I saw Dr. Ty, and then same thing. They redid some of the tests and couldn't find anything wrong with me. And my machines kept going off, and because they've never had anyone on the neurology floor that had that healthy of lungs or heart. And I wasn't allowed to hold my daughter. She was a newborn, so I couldn't hold her at all. And then my son thought it was cool because he got to be in a wheelchair, and then all the nurses he got to ride in my wheelchair, and all the nurses kind of oohed on over him. And I just remember looking out in the hallway, and there was a 95-year-old lady walking with a walker, and I just watched her, and I said, she walks faster than I do. Here I am with a walker. I've got a rope wrapped around my waist with nurses holding onto it so I don't fall down, just to go out in the hallway and walk a few steps down the hall and come back for my exercise. And then there's this 95-year-old woman just going down the hallway at a pretty good pace. But yet then I sit down and they've got to adjust my machines because I'm so healthy. So I couldn't figure it out. And so then they sent me home with a walker. I had to get a shower chair and all that stuff. And then I have a cane, which I still have to use in the summers. And then I just gradually started to get my strength back a little bit. And then I was able to, when I started working out, I started with just 3 minutes on the treadmill is what I was walking. And then after a few days, I bumped it up to 5 minutes. And then I remember I got to bump it up to 7, which I was pretty excited about. And then I just kept gradually bumping it up. But we lived in a raised ranch. You had to go in through the garage and then go up the stairs to get up into the main level of the house. And I just had to stop halfway, catch my breath, and then go the rest of the way. And so it took a long time to build up the endurance to do that. And then to be able to work out again. And then I had asked my doctor, Dr. Ty, so then they did a tilt table test, and then that's what diagnosed me with POTS about 2 months after I was out of the hospital. And basically I was just given a list of things not to do, like no singing, don't blow up balloons, don't stand in long lines. He said, you'll probably never be able to work out again, but try to walk for 30 minutes because of the joint pain and the muscle pain. And put salt in all your water. And good luck to you, because we could try a couple meds, and those meds ended up not working, so I don't take any meds for that. And so then I went to my cardiologist and I said, well, I really wanted to do a figure competition. And he just started laughing at me. And I said, well, can I do it? And he said, well, if you keep your sodium up, then, I guess. But he was just laughing. And so I remember walking out of his office just grinning from ear to ear and thought, okay, I'll wait till my next appointment when I come back in here. And so then then a few months later, I did do a figure competition. I got 5th in that one. And then I've just kept lifting ever since then. And it's not any easier than it was. I've built up an endurance so that I can go a little longer. Some days I can only go a few minutes in here and I have to go home. Especially in the summer, I have a lot more days like that in the summer because of the heat. And then, but I've built up enough endurance that I get nervous to take too much time off because I never know when a big flare-up is coming. So if I feel okay to work out, I'm going to work out. Simple things like giving my daughter a bath or bending down to tie her shoe are very difficult. Those are just normal daily things that most people don't think about. When I bend down to tie her shoe, when I stand back up, I'll get very dizzy. giving her a bath because the hot water in the bathroom, it makes the bathtub, or it makes the bathroom hot, and so I get really dizzy in there, so I just have to have a fan blowing on me, but then I have to have the door cracked just right so the fan's not blowing on her and she doesn't get too cold, and I gotta kind of stand in the middle, so I got like half of me getting the fan and then half of me helping her, and like if their food's too hot, I can't blow on it because I get dizzy, so I have to put it in the fridge. Getting ready in the mornings, that's why my hair keeps getting shorter and shorter, because doing my hair is exhausting. I have to take a lot of breaks, so I have to section it and straighten it, and then I'll have to go take a break and go change my clothes or go put in a load of laundry or something like that, and then I'll come back and straighten some more, and then I'll go do something else and then come back and straighten some more. So getting ready in the mornings is exhausting, so by the time I get to work, I'm already kind of worn out. Lower days, usually I try to kind of hide from people, more because I'm just exhausted, and any extra interaction, it makes me even more exhausted. And I usually have my kids, so I still have to give them baths and feed them dinner and do homework and all that kind of stuff. So basically I'm just putting every little bit of energy I have into those two. Plus, I don't like people seeing me have a bad day and struggle, so I tend to hide at my house until my bad days are over. By far the most difficult parts are when it comes to affecting my kids. My son kind of understands when it's too hot, I can't be outside. He knows that. My daughter doesn't really get it. She just thinks it's stupid, basically. So like having to sit inside while they're outside, it just stinks. Having to tell them, no, we can't go to the park today because mommy doesn't feel good, and it's not fair to them that they have to do that, or that we have to miss out on that part because of it. Not being able to go to the pool, or just go do something some days because I'm just too exhausted to do it. Those are the hardest parts. And like yesterday morning I stood up to do something, and I got really, really dizzy, and I scared my son, because all the stuff that you see at the gym with my legs wobbling and I can't breathe and I've got to hold on to something, I do that at home too. It's not just at the gym. So it's not like I come in here and this is what happens here. The same things happen at my house, and my kids see it, and it scares them. So he ran over and got the fan and pointed it right on me. I kept reassuring him that I was okay, and I think because we don't have another man in the house, he feels like he's got to be the one to take care of me. So if I am struggling to walk, he always holds my hand, or he'd take my hand and put it, when he was shorter, he'd put my hand on top of his head and he'd say, "Here, Mom, use me." And it just breaks my heart that he's got to see it and that it scares him, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't stop it. I can't protect them from it. And I hate that I just want him to be a kid. I just want him to have fun and not have to worry about something like that. But I can't stop them from seeing it. And he knows where my cane is. So if I have an episode and I'm struggling to walk, he will instantly go run and get my cane and say, "Here, Mom, I got it." And then he'll kind of tell Isabel, Mom doesn't feel good. Just, stay away from her for a few minutes, which just, it breaks my heart. So that, of everything I deal with, that is by far the most difficult, is when I have to tell them no because of something that has to do with the POTS and not feeling well, or not being able to do it. Alright, so coping with something like this. I'm not going to lie, there are some down days where I just want to lay in my bed and cry, and sometimes I'll let myself do that, but usually I have certain music that I'll play. I'll make myself open up the shades, I'll make myself play more upbeat music. Being around my kids always helps because they always cheer me up. And if I am having a bad day, we'll lay blankets down on the floor and we'll watch movies and have like a little picnic. But everything we do, it's us three together. So wherever one sits, we all three sit. So we all make a bed on the floor and put in a movie, and then I lay in the middle and they lay on the sides of me. And that always makes me feel better. And then we'll usually take a nap. So I wanted to get a tattoo that was something that I could look at and always remind me that this is something that's never going away and that I just need to stay strong. So I got this one here on my wrist. It's a Enzo symbol, which I painted, and it means never-ending journey, so it's not closed. And then I've got pink in it for my son's birthday, green for my daughter's birthday. I have blue for Dysautonomiaand, and then I also have purple for fibro. So that way, no matter what I'm doing, even at the gym, I always can see it out of the corner of my eye. So when I'm really kind of struggling to breathe or I'm struggling to get through a set of something, I can see it and just kind of remind me that it's not going away, it's not getting better. And so I just need to get through this, take a breath, catch my breath, and keep going. And it's just a part of my journey. So that's what this tattoo means.